Today we'll explore the best duo comps to climb up in League of Legends. This tier list is specifically made ranging from Iron to Master Plus, so basically for everyone almost. First comp that everyone should try at least once in their life is Ashe Seraphine. Seraphine is currently one of the best supports in the game, and Ashe resonates really well with her because of her slow in the passive, which makes the Seraphine stun everyone. On top of that, both characters are really good from a level 1 perspective, they are really easy to execute, so even if you don't know really well the game, you can try this combo right away and feel how strong you're gonna become in the laning phase. On the S tier we can find any type of mage really, but I just placed two, Aurelion Sol and Karthus specifically, which both have a really high win rate on pair with a support roaming, in this case Bard. If you are playing against a mage and a Bard, you know how painful this is. The mage can always take the wave under tower, on top of that he will have teleport to never lose a wave, and then you will have this Bard which is able to roam them up and go whenever he wants. Another really good pair in general, I do believe that Riot Games ultra fucked up how strong Senna is right now. I don't know, her souls drop rate on support just increased so much in the last patch, and you can easily obtain around 200 to 220 souls on a 35 to 40 minute game, which equals to like 900 range or something like that. So the plan is to play Senna support and pair it up with anything you want really. I put a Sion, but just keep in mind you can put whoever you want. You can put a Cho'Gath, you can put a Tahm Kench. It doesn't really matter, but keep in mind, keep Senna support and play the other champion ADC. On the A tier we have an uncommon pick. This is one of my favorite personally, which is Neeko and Nami. Neeko and Nami together have a really good synergy. Nami has the bubble, and then Neeko simply EQs on the bubble, 4 to 5 seconds CC, on top of an insane amount of damage. It is a really easy comp to execute, and I do believe that it is really strong, especially against immobile characters. I heavily advise you to try it out at least once in your ranked games, especially if you're starting out and you want to play something fun and fresh with your friends. Kaelin Lux is an abomination. Of course, we could add up Vel'Koz, we could add up whatever you want, just Kaelin paired up with a mage. It is an abomination to play against this comp as always, despite the elo or where you're playing. You can see Kaelin Lux being played ranging from Iron, and then even on the top levels such as Challenger and so much more. The problem with this comp is that of course they have a lot of push potential, and when you go under tower, God knows how painful this is. So I advise to play out this comp. It is also really easy to execute. The only thing is you need a bit of notions on how to ward, because if you're not gonna ward well and you play Kaelin Lux, you might actually get punished a lot. Katarina and Braum and Yunara and Braum, they share the same big boy, let's say. So Katarina and Braum, it's a really strong synergy. Everyone that knows how it works, it simply means that every single dagger of Katarina, when it procs, it actually procs the Braum. On top of that, you can go Conqueror Katarina, you can go Exhaust, Ignite, whatever you want. And proccing Braum passive is really easy with Katarina. So you have a lot of like skirmishing power. Yunara is about the same thing, as Yunara has a really strong thing, which is her projectile attack speed. The autos of Yunara are so fast, and it is really easy to proc the Braum passive, just like Katarina does. So because of that, it's really easy to stack up little tempo with Yunara and Braum, and also stack up the passive of Braum. I heavily advise to try this one out as well. It is really fun, and it becomes way easier to play Yunara, which is usually a really hard champion when you play it with Braum. On the B tier, we're gonna find Misfortune Leona. Misfortune Leona is really annoying for two things mainly. Number one, it's really hard to play an immobile character such as Aphelios or Jinx. So enemy ADC is forced to go cleanse in a meta where he would love to go barrier. If you are forced to go cleanse, you already have a disadvantage compared to the enemy comp, which can go barrier real or barrier ignite depending on what Leona wants to go. And just because of that, it is worth actually trying and see how it goes. Jinx Seraph is another abomination of a duo bot lane. If you can play well, it's mostly about coordination here, and you gotta be really careful about enemy ganks. The main issue of this comp is that it is really fragile, and it works really badly against champions such as Jarvan. You gotta be really careful in the draft to make sure that they don't have too much full all-in, but if the enemy has no answer to this bot lane, you're gonna kill people from half a mile away, and they can't really do anything about it. Lucian Nami, it's another really easy comp to execute that deals a lot of damage and also scales really well into the late game, but it's also really consistent, and I wouldn't place it below B tier. Really fun to execute. I advise you to try it out. On the B tier, we still have Draven, Samira, and Nautilus. Of course, not all the three together. Draven, Nauti, or Samira, Nautilus. They share the same thing. They basically want to look out for a full all-in lane, especially when you know that you have the matchup. If you snowball with these comps, it is extremely fun and you're gonna go 20-0 game in no time. So I advise to try these comps and see how it goes. It's gonna become either a 0-10 or a 20-0, but in any case, it's always fun to play it with your friend and just either blame him because he's ass at the game or say that he is really, really good at the game and just close a 25-0 game. Twitch Yumi goes on the B tier, but I wanna explain why. Twitch Yumi is a comp that literally has 99% of the heavy lifting on the Twitch. So if the Twitch is a really good player, this comp is gonna work perfectly, but if the Twitch is a really bad player, the comp might actually not work at all. Vayne Poppy and Vayne Alistar is an off-meta comp that works really well in reality if you get the right things at the right time. How these comps work is pretty simple. Poppy will stun the enemy at the wall and then Vayne will double down with her condemn. It is really, really strong if you know how to chain CC properly, but it still needs a lot of coordination between you and your support. So if you're interested on doing that, you can try it out. The same applies with Alistar. Alistar can basically W in the wall, then Q, then stun again, and follow up with the Vayne. Taliyah and Pantheon or Taliyah Thresh are a bit of an off-meta comp, but they still work quite well if you know what you have to look out for. On top of that, you'll have a Taliyah in the map which can rotate a lot, or a Pantheon which can both rotate on other lanes after getting the advantage. The whole concept of this lane is win early lane and then make Taliyah and Pantheon roam the map so that they can take over the whole map from there. Sivir Janna is kind of consistent because Janna gives a lot of movement speed, Sivir gets a lot of movement speed from her passive, and the same applies with Vayne. Also Vayne has the same trait, but Sivir Janna works so much better because every single time Janna slows with W, Sivir can pair up with Q, and the push potential is really good. If you want to try it out, just try it. You're gonna lose nothing trying it out at least once. On the D tier, I put two comps, Kog'Maw and Lulu. Kog'Maw Lulu is objectively becoming really, really hard to play, mainly for the reason that on the S tier, as you can see, there's so much shit that just pokes your ass. It feels really hard when the enemies that you have to play against are Ashe, Seraphine, mages, and Ascena that can hit you from off the map. Ezreal Taric is really consistent, but at the same time, those two champions are a bit too hard to execute, and they require specific requirements from both players, an heavy mechanical skill on the Ezreal, and a Taric player, which is, quite rare in this year, and this is why I don't recommend using it. Are there any other comps that you would have loved to see? Let me know down in the comments if you have any other crazy duo bot lane that I never saw. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.